Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. What is going on here? Tell me something. Why is it moving? Stop. What is going on here? Tell me something. Why is it moving? Stop. Why? At this time, I'm attempting to be quiet so that I can do a second sound check. It seems like some type of distortion going on in the volume. So I'm going to try again. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. Okay. I think that's okay. But I don't know what that additional sound was. The only thing in my immediate environment that's making noise, I don't know if you can hear it or not, is my dog is laying next to me and she's snoring. So I do apologize. Let me know if the sound is really disturbing and it continues. In this live stream, I'll be talking about past lives. Got some notes here. Now, I guess the first thing I can talk about is the picture that's to the left of me and maybe right from your perspective. It is a picture of me and my grandmother. Trying to think how old I might be. Maybe about 5 or 6, maybe. I'm 50 now. So I'm talking about at least 45 years ago. My grandma, her name was Jessie. Jessie died like in 1980 something. I was really, really close to my grandmother. In the time period the time that we had together before her departure, I spent quite a bit of time with her. But in retrospect, there are only a few moments I can recall. This picture here is interesting. So I retrieved it off of Facebook. Another family member posted it with a collage of other photos from the past. And this picture, being published on Facebook was timely because I was already dealing with past lives. And when how you doing, R. Harris? And when my family member posted this picture within the collage of old photos, I was like, I don't remember this moment. But this moment captures what me and my grandmother had. And so just the emergence of this picture out of nowhere, I never remember seeing it before. It's like it just emerged out of nowhere. It came from the past. Compelled me to go further into my ponderance about past lives. And so I'm going to read my notes. I'm going to try not to go back and forth and improvise, because when I do, I usually make a mess. I will say this much. I expect this video to be very short. I'm just sharing, what I've been up to, what's been going on in my world in the last week. And it's been dealing with what? Past lives. So I can kind of say that I've been in the midst of a past life regression. But I'm not talking about any remote past life experience when I have existed, when I may have existed with a different appearance and carried another name. I'm not talking about a past life or past lives in which I was a part of another culture or race or um, like that. It's not like I remember being in Egypt, uh, part of the Pharaoh's council or whatever, or being a high priestess or anything like that. I don't have any recollection of that. The one experience that I have had that it appears that I might be tapping into some past life experience happened in the dream realm. And I talked about it here on my channel. And it was when I talked about how I was a Mexican man one day. It was a reoccurring dream. And I was being chased like through a concentration camp. Me and my son have a similar dream. His dream, he remembered being a Hispanic or a Mexican or something like that, or something, just another nationality, and eventually being executed at the end of his dream. Well, me, I was also like the same culture, and I ran for years. It was a reoccurring dream. I ran and tried to escape this concentration camp. I never had seen myself prior to a few years ago. I talk about it again in a previous video. Anyway, it's me and a group of people trying to escape this concentration camp with all these brick walls and high fence with barbed wire, et cetera, et cetera. And as mentioned, I had this dream reoccurring for years. And a few years back, maybe 5 or 6 years back, I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not running. And I told y'all I sat on this real high brick wall. And in the moment I sat on this real high brick wall, straddling like a horse, all of a sudden, my soul or something came out of the body and turned around and looked at me. And that's how I saw that I was like a Mexican guy or something like that trying to escape this concentration camp. That's how I became aware of it. And so that's the only that I can recall. Well, when I talked about being a roach or a mouse in a wall, it's still in a dream state. Those are the only past life experiences that I recall. That could be possibly me, my soul, in a different form, in a different body. But this past week, when I say it was heavy on me, my past was heavy. And it came to me because of neighbors that I had. I'm all over the place, when I'm just talking, I'm just sharing, letting you know where I am. When I was growing up here in Detroit, my mom lived in the same community for 30 years. So we had the same neighbors forever. And it was this family on the corner. And it was a house full of women. They were all beautiful. They were the most beautiful women I had ever seen. And I rarely recall seeing any men over there. But at that time period, I was real young. But I used to just sit on the porch, and I was friends with one of the young ladies that stayed over there, but she was a little older than me. They were so beautiful. I remember them getting out. All of them would get out, and they would beautify their home, like gardening and things like that. Everybody would be doing something. And when they had nothing to do or would spend downtime, they would just sit on their porch, conversate, or do whatever they were going to do. I guess it was older sisters, maybe each had children and had girls. I don't know truly what their relationship was to each other. It was a house full of beautiful women. Anywho, that family often comes to my mind, and I just don't know why. To this day, that family frequents my mind. Another thing that I realized, I said, I also dream about them. And I wonder why I dream about them. I guess they were possibly just overbearingly intriguing to me. What was probably intriguing was the fact that it was a house full of women. When I say a house full of women, I'm talking about maybe 6, 7 women of all ages, and again, all beautiful. Their home seemed very peaceful They were peaceful, organized, and seemed united. Um, but again, I was very young. I was trying to figure out over this past week, like, why do I dream about these people? And it's been somewhat of a reoccurring dream as well. One that in my younger years, I never thought about. Just would, what do you call it? Just kind of, cast it out my mind when I would dream about this family. And I would, in my dream, all I was doing is talking to them or visiting them or something, you know. And I never gave much thought to it, just cast it out of my mind. But because it continues, it happened most recently in like last 2 weeks. I was like, what is it about this family? And so I started thinking about this family in order to answer that question for myself. What am I talking about now? I'm talking about what has led me to now discuss past lives. So I sat with myself in real time. I'm like, what is it about this family that they keep coming back in my dreams and in the forefront of my consciousness? I have no idea where these people are now. We've all grown up. I'm sure some of them have passed on. The ones that were, or the one that was near my age, who knows, I have no idea. I can't even remember these people's last name, which is interesting, but I can't remember their last name or anything. So what is it about these people? That was the trigger to all of this past life regression. Then I go on Facebook a couple of days ago, and a family member posts this picture of me and my granny. A moment, a snapshot in time in which we looked like we were sitting on a park bench enjoying each other. I don't remember this moment. But again, this picture does sum up the relationship between me and my grandmother. Anywho, I just wanted you to be aware that I'm not talking about some distant, ancient, pastime life experience. No, I'm talking about my past in this life. I realize that the past in this life that I'm currently living as Nancy, looking basically the way I do now, is composed of many, many past lives. Let me see. Let me read my notes. I'm not talking about any remote past life experience when I may have existed with a different appearance and carried another name. I'm referring to my current life, past life experiences that include a reality I cannot recall. Even though, what am I saying? I'm saying even though it's this life here that I'm living, my earlier experiences, much of it I cannot recall. Especially when I'm dealing with the ages of from birth to about 5, I don't remember nothing past life experience. Then it's this moment that my consciousness and awareness clicks on, and I feel like that probably happened around the age of 4 or 5. And I know that it happened because I used to go to a little preschool called Do Re Mi Academy, and that's before a child is old enough to go to the big school. So that had to be about 4 or 5. I recall that. I recall moments and people in detail, but I'm sure there are other parts that I can't recall. And I've talked about that time period of my life on my channel. And then there's this period. How can I say this? As mentioned, I'm 50 now, and what I realize is that the further back I go, the more my past fades. The happenings that occur in my life, my current life, 20 years ago, have begun to fade. They're becoming a distant past life or like a previous life. And I'll try to explain. The glitch or the glitch in the matrix. My past life experiences are surreal to me. Each phase of my life timeline is like a snapshot in which the scenery or the background changes. The style, like fashion and decor, changes. The characters or people I was surrounded by changes. So what am I saying? I'm saying when I look over my life, my past life, this is past life regression, I see this glitch in our matrix. And the glitch occurs or is obvious through the style. Like the style of the 60s was different than the style of the 70s. And the style of the 70s is different from the 80s, 90s, and so on. Now, a person will say, well, that's just, changes or in fashion, the creative spirit. But what is it? This is my question. What is it that exists to make such noticeable changes? We're talking about moving from the bell bottoms of the 60s to the bell bottoms of today. What's the difference? Why do they carry a different spirit? Then there are the colors that existed in the 1960s or 70s. Those colors don't seem to be the same as the colors that exist now. And I'm going to go a little deeper into that because this is a glitch. That's what I'm talking about, a glitch. Now, some time ago, it was a eclipse that happened. I think the eclipse was in Leo or something. And I testified that when I went out to, witness this eclipse, it was what was it called? I can't remember, the Great something eclipse when it went across the United States or something, the battery. Anyway, I said, hey, I took my laptop out and I tried to record the eclipse. I said I was busy. I was trying to see what my laptop was recording, but I couldn't due to the lighting outside. I said, but what I did end up seeing in the black screen of my laptop was the sun as a black hole and it absorbing the color out of our RAM. You can go find that video. It was called The Great Eclipse or something. Oh, something. I'll look for the title of it. And I bring that particular video up in that experience because, as I was saying, the glitch that I noticed is the difference in color intensity that exists in between decades. It could be that over time, through science, engineering, and stuff like that, that we were able to make more vibrant dyes. Maybe that has created the difference in the color intensity that's present now versus what it was not years ago. When I think of the past, my past lives, color was always an issue. Things seemed very dull or gray, not as vibrant. And I'm not just talking about in photos. I'm talking about in real time. Things just didn't seem as bright or brilliant. I remember the colors of denims and different things, that the furniture, it just wasn't vibrant. Like now we may go to that place, what is it called, that's really popular? oh gosh, a Kia or something like that. And we can get neon colored this and that, and these uh we have pastel colors and neon colors. This was a glitch of some type. That what I'm saying is that this color differences has helped define the various decades and also my past lives. And I believe that's the case for others as well. I feel like the need to mention this, just to have it noted, is that we are currently, Uranus is currently in Taurus. And I talked about this when Uranus entered Taurus. I said it seems like it's promising us some new color spectrum, or change to the color spectrum. Just to note. Anywho, um, the glitches are the changes to the backdrop. When I say the backdrop, I'm talking about scenery. I'm talking about everything from architecture changes, the styles, um, like curtains, and again that goes into design and style and things like that. It's changed. What changed? Now, um, if you follow me, you may know. I don't know if I ever mentioned this. When I first went to college, I told you I went for mortuary science. Was not my area. And I also took classes in design. I always had an interest in clothing design. And so, in taking classes in clothing design, we we had to refer to history, going back to the Victorian age and different things like that, to explore different design development, such as like what do you call it, darks, the structure of how we make clothes, like darks and pleats and uh, keyhole openings and the different facets, hooks, and different things like that. And I just recall in that class how uh, the same techniques that are used now to tailor our clothing are techniques that have existed for what? Decades. So my thing is, what exists that makes our style now so distinctively different from the styles of the past? Color is one. And obviously, uh, the different tactics to tailor, uh, clothing, and the different constructional engineering uh, tactics are what causes the changes or something. It has to be an excuse, is what I'm saying, that creates this glitch in the appearance of a time period. Oftentimes, when we watch movies, we can be taken back down memory lane or transported to the past because the what do you call it? The person that does the movie, the director, and its team creates this illusion of a past time period through what? The architecture, the clothes, the style, even the slang, how people talk changed. Hmm. It was something else I wanted to say. I want to add a side note here. Um, if you follow me, you might know also that I studied architecture because I was an art historian, and that's where I landed at. And so we studied architecture. I studied architecture. I say we because the class. I studied architecture, and there are some structures that are timeless. What makes those structures timeless over other structures? These are all the questions that I'm moving to answer right now, as I'm dealing with my own personal past life regression. Okay, not a dog, another dog's barking. Okay, such temperamental beings, and then somebody ring the bell like they retarded. Mm-mm-mm. They don't have quiet now. Okay. Another thing that I noticed, the glitch that helps can help a person distinguish past lives from the current life is the people that actually exist during any given time period. When I've been going through this past life regression over, the last week or so, I realized that at the time frame that me and my grandmother took this picture, there were certain or particular people that existed in my life. Those people, even my grandmother, has faded away. And it gave way to the next past life, where I was what? I was adorned in a different style. I was within a scenery that was completely different. And the people were totally different. Totally different. It no longer consisted of my grandmother. It consisted of a whole nother group of people. And it leads me to say, like, where do these people come from? But what am I talking about? Because I know I'd be all over the place. I'm saying this is what creates these various past lives. And this is also why past lives seems to fade away. Okay. I want to read my notes. Just my thoughts. I have over here was the results of past lives. Results of past lives. I have written here, truth be told, the past lives do not exist in whole anymore. They are just fragmented memories, emotional impressions, and acquired philosophies. The current moment in whole only exists because of the past lives, nothing more. So what am I saying here? Well, again, over the last week, I've been pondering these past life experiences that I have. And I realized that my past life, the earlier part of my life, doesn't exist anymore. My grandmother doesn't exist anymore. My mother does not exist at least in this physical realm anymore. And a lot of the people that I met along the way doesn't exist anymore in whole. Neither does the colors, neither does the structures, the structures, the style, the decor, the most of the architecture in whole doesn't exist anymore. So that past life that I lived, maybe after 5 years old, doesn't exist anymore. At least not in whole. But what does still exist from those various time periods, the past lives, is fragmented memories. Now, as I stated, I don't remember this picture. Me and my grandmother taking this picture. But let me tell you a story. I do remember. And I think I shared it here. When I was a young girl, maybe about 6 or 7, my family, I came from a large family at one time. And my family was together like for the holidays, and they loved to play this card game called Be It Whist. And I came from a family of drinkers. They would drink and play cards, and my mom would cook and entertain her siblings and her siblings' children. And my grandmother would be there just as drunk and playing cards just as hard. And one day I come down the stairs and they in the heat of their game, and I say, Grandma, my baby died hungry. My baby died is hungry. My grandma turns around and she say, give me that baby. Baby? And she take the baby down, and in a lickety split, she slap out her breast and she breastfeed my baby down in front of everybody. I was scarred. I was scarred for life. Now that moment right there, I remember. I never forget it. It's like it was yesterday. But that photo right there, I don't recall. I don't recall at all. That's what I mean by my past life experiences only exist as fragmented memories. very fragmented memories. Uh, Another story, just to show you how fragmented my past life is to me, has to do with my grandmother. My grandmother stayed in some apartments in the older part of Detroit. And occasionally I would get to go, visit my grandma like every weekend if I wanted to. And this particular weekend, I'm at her home. She puts me in the tub and she turns around to do something. I had this little rubber duck. And so I grabbed the little rubber duck out the windowsill and I put it in the water and I take it and I'm squeezing it because I'm a little bitty thing. It's a rubber ducky. And when I squeeze it, all these little baby roaches come out. I remember that like it was yesterday. But this picture, I don't remember. Anyway, I holler, I say, oh, grandmama. And she turned around like, what, girl, what? I said, there's baby bugs all in my bathwater. And she freaked out. That's a memory. That's a memory I remember clear when it comes to my grandma. But whether it's my grandmother or some other experience or person, my past life experiences are merely fragmented memories. And they're also made up of emotional impressions. So what do I mean by emotional impressions? Now, as I stated, this picture of me and my grandmother, I don't recall this exact moment. But I also said that it sums up me and my grandmother's relationship. I remember her warmth and her love and her the attention she gave me. That's what I'm talking about, the emotional impressions. Throughout my past lives, I can recall the feeling that I got from a person. I might not remember all the details to the scenarios that we lived out or through together, but I remember how I felt as a direct result of being associated with like a particular person or going to a particular place during a particular time. I don't understand why I'm having so many issues here. High CPU usage detected. You may experience performance issues. What's the CPU? Anybody, please comment below this video. What's the CPU? I have no idea at all. None. You say, I'm good though. Just some bird like it's two of you talking. Wow. They say the sound worse just sound like. That's what I'm saying. I'm having all kinds of issues. It's unbelievable. But thank you for letting me know, Miss R. Harris. This is crazy. So I'll try to talk lower. So even if it's having this feedback effect, hopefully it won't be too bad. And so I remember, I don't, I'm still going through this past life regression thing here. Not some old, distant, ancient past life. I'm talking about the past life associated with this life. And the emotional impressions and my psychological state and my sense of self-worth. I can't recall, not from my family, not from the people in my early life. Yeah, it was people that didn't like me, but I was more loved and cared for than any ill will, especially early on. I was protected and shielded. That's all I know. The computer's central program unit. So my computer's central program unit is doing that. It says you have a lot of programs running, wearing down your computer's memory. We're running programs hindered. Happens a lot when you overall low memory. Yeah, my computer keeps coming up saying I got low memory, I cleaned it and the bug did the other day because it said it. I erased some of the videos that I made for YouTube. You know, I was storing them in my laptop to clear up space. And I've cleared up cookies. I'm gonna go back and do the cookies and clean that up again. Um, I guess it's the time. My laptops only last 2 or 3 years, no matter what I do. So it's about time for this one to go out. So when y'all don't see me no more, that's what happened. Past life experiences. Thank you so much, our Harris. Um, yeah. And so I was talking about all that's left from my past life, the parts of my life that are fragmented. And, you know, when I reflect upon them and the impressions that's all that's left. And so right now, I'm just talking about right now who I am as a person. How can I be as confident as I am? How can I be so self assured? It is because of those emotional impressions made. It's that those hugs, like the one you see on that bench over there. And it was the food and coming together and being family and being important in my early years. You know, in my early years. That's the impression it made upon me. It made a strong individual as far as self-esteem and self-worth. That's what's left for the past life experience. And the last thing that I feel like I still possess from the past life is my acquired philosophies, worldviews, et cetera, et cetera. One which has not benefited me, I must say. And I was not aware of like racism when I was coming up. Maybe my mom felt that I wasn't ready for it and that I would learn it in the course of my life. But early on in my life, we're talking about early impressions or impressions that have, or philosophies that have made their way into my life over the course of all my past lives, which end up making me who I am today. I didn't know about racial injustice and biases. I'd heard about Martin Luther King, knew the whole story, but I didn't comprehend. I didn't comprehend. That's what say that has been somewhat of this thing's still coming up, performance issues. Hi, Warrior Light. Hi, Miss Nancy. How you? I'm fine. I'm just sharing where I am today and what I am in the middle of working through and pondering and things like that. Why? Because it just walks its way into my life. And it's most likely for a reason. So I'll entertain it. So I remember my mom, she bought me all the kings of Africa and the queens of Africa posters. And so I knew about African royalty and things like that and where I'm supposed to have a descendant from and things like that. But I still didn't know about like racial inequality and biases in a way that I comprehended it. This is a philosophy. The absence of that awareness is also a philosophy or a way to view the world, has somewhat been a detriment to me. That's the impression that was left. You know, I tell you about me being able to travel, you know, my family saying that I was able to travel the world. And so I have this philosophy of freedom. Again, that's been a hindrance to me, but I'm talking about how my past life, how it has contributed to who I am today and the impressions it has left with me. And this is the various philosophies. Another philosophy that did not serve me well, but nonetheless, it's a philosophy. I was raised by a woman who was in her prime in the 1950s. So I was raised like to be a housewife. Didn't serve me well, but that's a philosophy, you know. I was also raised by what they call strong black women. So I got a big mouth. That's a philosophy has made me. And so what I'm talking about those past life experiences that I had, in which now the memories are it is nothing but memories, fragmented memories, emotional impressions, and some acquired philosophies that create who I am. But those past life experiences no longer exist in whole. In whole. Now, what else I got here? Consciousness. That's right. I'll just read. Mm. The current moment in whole only exists because of the past and nothing more. That's a realization that I got. Is it 100% true? I don't know. But I'm biased and I'm led to think it does. And what is that? Is that this moment right here, right now, the condition of this world, the state of the world, how my life is, how it looks, everything was created as a direct result of the past. I am the past. I am my mom. I am my grandmother. I am all that came before me. I am the physical manifestation of the past and nothing more. I don't know if that makes sense. Just this realization. What's going on, Zip? I'm happy to hear from you. Hope all is well. And happy holidays if you celebrate the holidays. Hey, Miss, yes, long time. It's been a long time. Reading on. The only consistent features are the loop. The loop. What am I talking about? Remember, I've been going through this past life regression. All the past lives that I have a fragmented recollection of up until this moment. I asked myself, since I couldn't get rid of the thoughts, and since all these synchronicities was happening about dealing with this area of existence, okay, well, what's been consistent? Me, I've been consistent in the course of my life, but what else? The only thing I can see else has been consistent is the loop. And the loop is of existence, the cycle of existence, which consists of what? Thought and thought processing, awake to sleep cycle, urination, defecation cycle, and eat and drink cycle. Other than myself, that loop is the only other thing that has been consistent. So why am I looking at these unusual aspects about our existence or my existence in this world? And it's because I figure that nothing occurs for no reason at all. So I'm saying that the reason why I keep dreaming about my neighbors from way, way back in during a past life, the reason why this picture popped up on Facebook like it came up out of the past was all to spark me to search for some answer. Possibly that's usually how my life works. And so I began to ponder all the facts that I know in order to what? End up with an answer. I have to say it right here, right now. I haven't got a final answer, but I am in the process of exploring. And my initial exploration has begun with past life regression. Again, I ain't talking about no ancient, old, distant life where I may have been somebody else. Look, I may have had a different appearance and carried a different name. No, I'm talking about this current life, earlier days, is the past lives that I'm talking about. Anyway, so we talk about the loop. Then I have here the consciousness. And I've talked about the consciousness. What's the name of that video? I talked about the consciousness. During the broomstick tap challenge, I talked about an event that occurred in my community that I had never heard of before. It seems, based on what I witnessed at the time, it wasn't the norm. You have to go check out my broomstick challenge and my testimony of that time period, the consciousness of the people. Anywho, the consciousness. The consciousness of the people evolved as a direct result of the presented awareness in academics, the academic branches of science, engineering, and technology. But the evolution of their consciousness was disproportionate to the actual existing status of science, engineering, and technology. What am I saying? I'm saying, hey, y'all, back then, remember, we're dealing with past lives. And I'm also taking in consideration this very moment. And I am very aware, as I shared in that video I just referred you to, the Broomstick Challenge, that the consciousness of the people in my past life was different. When I was age 5, the consciousness of the people was different. Then when I turned, let's go a decade, 15, during the crack era, the consciousness of the people was different. And I say crack era because, see, the introduction of crack into to the world or to the United States population with a primary focus on the Black community was an advancement in science, chemistry, that changed the people's consciousness. So ride away with me. Science, engineering, and technology. Let's go up 10 more years. I'm 25. The consciousness of the people changed. By the time I was 20, marijuana really came over into the United States in an abundance and has been misused ever since. The consciousness of the people have changed. And I'm just using these examples to make what I'm trying to say make sense. Marijuana, the misuse of it. Currently, what do you call it? Large amounts or not perpetual, what's the word? Consistent use of marijuana is the norm now. Where back in the day, at least in the United States, that wasn't the case. And so I'm saying the consciousness of the people changed as direct result of what? Our awareness of science, engineering, and technology. Let me see if I can kind of clarify. I was trying to use drugs, but it's in even engineering. An example could be the microwave. The discovery and development and the distribution of microwaves changed the consciousness of a people. Prior to that, a person had to get in the kitchen and go through the whole preparation in order to prepare the food, to cook it in the oven. I remember, it used to take all day long. And your mind was programmed to go through that whole process in order to have the meal on the table by 5 o'clock, so to say. But once the microwave came, the consciousness of the people changed. What am I talking about? Why am I talking about these different factors or features of life that have existed in the course of my life? It is because I realize that my past are the past life experiences that many talk about. It's not a distant, ancient timeline. No, it is this life in which I am Nancy and have always been Nancy. And those past life exist because the details, the dynamics that create a given time period change. They change. Like I said, the decor, the colors, the styles, all these things change. The groupings of people that were around me. In my earlier life, it was my mom. It was my dad. It was my grandmother. And it was my mom's siblings. And then they died out, all those people. My mom had a big family. They died out within a couple of years of each other. It was like, and she found herself alone. And then it was me and my mom and my brothers. And then turned around, it was the people from my community and my college associates. And it was each of these when I look back over my life in retrospect, were different past life experiences. Each of them were totally unique. Each of them carried their own style. Each of them carried their own color spectrum. Each of them carried their own groupings of people that surrounded me. Each of those time periods had its own unique consciousness. Like I gave an example, before the microwave and then post microwave, the consciousness of the people, including myself, have changed. I don't know if it makes sense. The only thing that was consistent in all this in my life was me in this loop I talk about of awake and sleep and eat and drink and urination and defecation and thought, the thought process. High rise of vibrations, I got your message. Hopefully you got mine. I am here just sharing, talking about my past life regression I'm currently going through. Okay, did I say? Oh. And what I was saying also here, because I got kind of stuck there, talking about how our consciousness has evolved as a direct result to our awareness about our awareness in science, engineering, and technology. What I was also saying and sharing is that there's one issue that I see exists, is that I, as well as other people that create humanity at any given time, are not privy to the actual status of humanity's advancement in science, engineering, and technology, meaning we don't know to what extent it has evolved. We don't fully know. So that leaves us at a disadvantage. It's a disproportionate rise. See, we people were supposed to rise at the same level as our awakening or realizations when it came to science, engineering, and technology. But the powers that be made sure that we did not. And so, and because that's the case, we will be subordinate to, or subordinate, will be under the influence of the power that our advancements in science, engineering, and technology bring into existence. Hello, Coco. Would you like to say hi to the camera? This is Coco Chanel. If anybody would like her, please feel free to email me. Yeah, I'll give you away. Would you get down? Get down. Hello, who up here? Who is me? Ruby, please open this door and let this dog out. Take her. Call Pearl now. Tell her, make her, is she back here? Pearl. Call her now. Ask her where she is. Coco. Open the door. She wants to go out to the bathroom. You come here and give me a hug, and then you get out in the middle of my life. So where you... Oh, Lord. I see. Those are rubies, aren't they? Mm-hmm. You see the world through some totally different lenses. I money. Money? I did money. I did money. I did hair. Okay, come on. Can you and your auntie take the dog out and call for her? Somebody get your dog out. Yay, get out. My apologies, y'all. Oh, that's interesting. We are disproportionate to our level of advancements in science, engineering, and technology. This is the page where I was trying to figure out what the messenger was trying to tell me, inform me about. Okay, what is this? I was writing down all the details that I know about our existence as a direct result of the message I've been receiving on this subject matter of past lives, why am why is my thoughts why have my thoughts been geared toward it? And so what I wrote down is I wrote down the world population. I broke it up into the percentages that I present here, like the 1 or 2 percenters, or the powers, and the 35 percenters, the professional experts that may very well sell themselves out to stay a part of this physical worldly construct. Hello. And then the 63 percenters, the one of many, the one of many who create humanity at any given time. Just writing these facts down, trying to figure it out. I don't think I have the answer yet. This is what I have written here: world population perspectives, current 7.8 billion. What have I? All have the same constructual experience. Yep. Oh, Jesus Lord, baby. Go away. Ain't no ding dong. Go away. So what's I writing here? I'm trying to get a realization again, understanding about what's being shared with me, or I'm trying, something is trying to awaken me to. Again, I'm looking at all the facts that's basically unrefutable. They didn't go together, but it's unrefutable. It's said, to be reported that it's 7.8 plus billion people in the world. And if everything that I'm sharing about a past life, from it being a fragment, merely fragmented memories and emotional impressions and whatever else it has been sharing with me, or pointing out to me, then if that's the case, then that exists for all 7.8 plus billion people. And remember, what I have discovered is that right now, in the moment, it only exists as it does because of the past and nothing more. Nothing more. Just the past. So remember, we are co-creators. We collaborate to create our experience here in this physical world. Right now, well, let's go back some time. Last year, sometime, it was an estimated 7.5 plus billion people. So the 7.5 billion people that existed last year were co-contributing to our reality. Their past, our past, created the reality that we are experiencing now. And we all, when we look back over our own unique lives or our own unique perspectives, our own line, staying in our lane, going down, what they call it, past life regression. All it is, all that we're seeing and experiencing are those fragmented memories, those, it's a fact, what did it say, the fragmented memories, the emotional impressions, and let's say, and acquired philosophies. We all have consistently, only thing that's been consistent in each of our lives is ourselves and the loop of what eating and drinking, sleeping and awake, urinate, defecate, and the thought process. I'm trying to understand what I'm being told. It's like the messages are getting more complicated that I receive, and I know that. Reality shifts I have here. Still reading my notes, looking at all the details that I know in order to kind of decipher what I'm being informed about. I'm trying. The next category is reality shifts, births and deaths, relationships established and breakups, relocations, construct affiliation, education, business. Oh, construct. Okay. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about the shifts that have to take place in order to create a different life. As I stated, there are some glitches that exist. And the glitches are that depending on what time period you reflect upon, the colors change, the styles change, the architecture changes. Those would seem were fairly insignificant changes would help us define any given period. But how can I say this? Another thing is that the people that surround us during a given time changes. But that change, like in the people that surround us, during a time period, it changes. The force that changes it, or the forces that change it, is births and death. That's what allows that to happen. Births and deaths. Then it's also establishing relationships and breaking up. It's like I'm trying to see it. I'm trying to understand it. It almost seems like the gadgets or the gears that are moving the projector of our life along. I don't know if this is making sense or not. That's what I'm getting. And then it's like the constructs that we decide to create. All of these are the gears that are moving, again, the film of our life along. Just looking at the facts. And then I have the next category where I begin to look at is activating previously unstimulated neural links in the brain. What am I talking about? Well, it goes back to humanity evolution is directly related to our advancements in science, engineering, and technology. I'm talking about science, like crack or weed. I talked about engineering, like microwaves. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talked about architecture yet. What's the architecture? I think some architecture that has really made an impression on people. Maybe the Taj Mahal. Could be. Think about it. Anyway, once an advancement in science, engineering, and or technology is introduced to the people's mind has to be reconfigured in order to accept and adapt to that newfound awareness. That's what I'm talking about, establishing real live neural links. This is what I'm saying is allowing us to move into the future. I don't know what that is. It appears to me, after just this preliminary evaluation, that our only connection to the future is our advancements in like science, engineering, and technology. But everything that exists right here, right now, is a byproduct of our past lives. Interesting, isn't it? And so what I think I'm experiencing is, I think that whatever communicates with me, something is coming up about the creator of this realm. I'm gonna stop right here and divert from what I'm talking about. Talk about how when I was in the church, I was diehard. I wasn't fanatic, but I've always been serious, and I believed everything that I was told and studied until I studied. But what I'm seeing now is this creator. Something is, it seems to me, I don't know what nobody else getting. Like I said, I know my messages are unique. Something is trying to inform me about how the ruler or the God of this world has its claws in humanity. Because in the reading I did before this live, it started going into that. And I did finish that reading after I got off here. I ate dinner and I finished the reading. And the story of the saga continued on the course in which I was reading it live here on YouTube. And now, this past life regression, it's this it's this valley. Use really the term valley between what is and what could be. What is, remember, is a direct result or the byproduct of the past, and what can be is directly related to the advancements in science, engineering, and technology. There, in the middle, is where humanity is where the God of this world has its claws in humanity. In that reading, it talked about our beliefs, our consciousness. The ninth house of Sagittarius talks about our beliefs, our philosophies, yada, yada, yada. And when you really look at our beliefs and philosophies, they are our states of consciousness and awareness, the height of it, the extent of it. And in that last reading I did, this is so interesting. The last tarot reading I did just before I went live here, it was saying that we are in a contract with the God of this world, and that its term for dealing with us or being in a contract with us or humanity is, hey, I give you the consciousness. I teach you how to think and therefore how to behave, how to act. And my condition is that you give your mind over to me. And we're not talking about the physical mind or the brain. We're talking about the mind, the spirit part, the ethereal part. So I did. I'm still riding my wave. Y'all, I'm still on this wave here. Anyway, so establishing new neural links, meaning the brain, as we advance in technology, the brain is awakened. Okay. Let's see. Testify. Okay, we're talking about perspective. And I always bring up my criteria, what makes me fairly unique or puts me in a particular grouping or demographic of people. And so I personally, as Nancy, in this lifetime, I testify changes from my perspective as what a Black woman, an obese woman. All of these details about me help to focus. It's like a lens focusing. Remember, I am one of many. I am one who creates humanity. I have a very unique perspective, unique from any other of the 7.8 plus billion people in the world. Even though there are other Black, fat women, but every perspective is different. Their upbringing wasn't my upbringing. Yes, I'm talking about past life skills and what they are. I'm trying to get there. And so it's my unique perspective. I am a witness and a testament to, what you say that was, a computer. You said it's called, what's it say? Oh, Computers Central Program Unit. Okay, I got to go back into that because it keeps on happening. So a Black woman, obese woman, public school, college, inner city, and whatever other dynamics overall that I am, that's my perspective. That's the lens refined in which I see. Okay. So going on. Oh, that's not a page. And this is 5. Oh, the participation. I forgot what that was about. Okay. This is most likely a part 1 to at least a 2-part series because I ain't done. Let me see what else it says. Past life experiences are these. These got to be notes. I haven't even answered those questions. So I want you back. Still questions. Every time some information comes, I have more questions. I say I ask why. What is the significance of my past life experiences if they don't exist anymore? What is it trying to compel me to do? And I can't see the whole the experience in whole anymore. None of the people that I shared space and time with can I, touch base with. I'm actually carrying the consciousness of that past that I've lived through into the future. I'm carrying the past into the future, but I can't go no further. Oh, okay. The entrapment. It's the entrapment. Something is trying to wake us up. Is what I'm getting, but it's the entrapment. And that's where I keep stalling at. It's an entrapment. Like, what I believe, maybe, based on everything that I am taking in, is that I asked this question before. Truly, how does the internet work? Now we know how most of us know how to use our phones or our laptops or iPads or whatever they're called to access the internet and use the various apps, applications that's offered. But do we really know how the internet is sustained, how it's built, how it's sustained, how the waves or whatever are harnessed? Even talking about what we look at as a simple microwave now, do we understand how the microwave was constructed, how it harnesses the microwaves in order to concentrate and condense them to cook a meal or defrost or whatever? It is that aspect right there that where our consciousness is disproportionately aligned with, and that disproportionate alignment is what is trapping us in this reality. I know that it seems to me, I know this has to be the case basically, is that everybody may feel like they're not a scientist. That's not an area that they want to become an expert in, that type of engineering, knowing those engineering details. But it seems to me that who we are, that's what we were made to do. It's not like it's supposed to be hard or a challenge for us. I don't even know how to say it. Yeah. It's not supposed to be hard or a challenge for us. That shouldn't even be a question about how such things are done. Just like when I talk about crack, people use that type of substance and similar substances for enjoyment, but not truly understanding the chemical compounds that make it up and what it is. I don't know, jump spirit. So we're disproportionate to it and therefore are susceptible to be enslaved by it. Oh man, I don't even know how to bridge the past lives and why they exist in part in our ability to hop over in the future. It's like we personally, as long as we are not knowledgeable or remember, this is more like remember, we supposed to know this stuff easy. It's a part of us. It's not like we go to school and need to learn something to do it. We supposed to already be it. You know what I'm saying? At our whim. You know how people say you can create something, snap of a finger or a thought. It's like that. That's who we're supposed to be. But the powers that exist here has kept us away from who we are. That's what I'm saying. Like it's kept us away from who we are. And all we're stuck in is in the past, in the lower vibrations of ourselves, never advancing, while the powers have the advancements in science, engineering, and technology. They have the future. They are like we're cattle, and the science, engineering, and technology is the harness, and they're hurting us in a way that they deem fit because we don't know how to break that yoke. We don't know how to bridge ourselves together with that science, engineering, and technology. So, what am I saying? I can't speak for everybody, but what I'm getting is this past life stuff. It's talking about your current life and the current lessons that your past life has attempted to teach you. And also, it's trying to educate you on how to free yourself. So I don't really have all the answers because I don't understand how a microwave works, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know myself how to bridge that gap in order to be the future, to be the future. And it's so interesting because I did a video live not too long ago called The Promised Land of Milk and Honey. And it talks about we're on our way to where technology will take us. I don't even know how to say it. Anywho, I just wanted to share with you the path of discovery that I'm on. And the reason I'm on it because several synchronicities have occurred that have turned my attention here. And the messages that I am receiving personally have to do with past lives. And it's led me to what? Past life regression, going back down memory lane and really understanding what it's about. And the past life, again, our cycle isn't complete. I guess I could say it like that. Our cycle, when I say our, I'm talking about each of us who create humanity. Our cycle isn't complete. The past life is evidence that our cycle isn't complete. We're not making not bridging the past life or the past to the future. We're not. There are others that are controlling future. And future is, I want to say this, what I'm getting is that future is an actual living like space or something. And the past is like a living space. You can't do anything with the past actively. The future is what allows us to manipulate and make the changes. But the people that create humanity, the bulk of the population, is stuck in the past, literally stuck in the past. And because we're stuck in the past, we have no control over the future. The only way I can see us bridging that gap or breaking that yoke between the past and the future is that we have to be our consciousness has to be equivalent to the technology that exists in our realm. Like I said, I don't know how a microwave works in detail, but that's the kind of consciousness I'm saying that we need. Are we required to go to a university in order to acquire that kind of knowledge? See, that's the trick of the powers that exist in this realm, the physical manifestations of the powers. They make you have to go to the universities and be indebted to them and focus on one area or arena of academics. People of the people of the past life regression. Another person's perspective, though. Did they go to the university? Did they learn how a microwave works and create the microwave and or even get the consciousness of the microwave through the university? Is the question. You know what I'm saying? They did not. They did not. And again, I don't really know how to take us there. It'll be real, real nice if this entity or energy tells me exactly how to do it, you know? But that is how we're enslaved here in this physical world. It's a time of possibilities. Now we can be stuck in this world in which we limited. I'm going off a little bit because I see we can be stuck in this world in the same. I don't want to be stuck in the same. Oh my God, loop. Oh my God. But to truly awaken, that's what we got to bridge that gap. Bridge that gap. I talked about something in a live stream or two ago. I think it was the one where I talked about cowboys and aliens, leaders, technology, and whatever. And I read some of the scriptures from the King James Version Bible, chapter 6, I think, of Revelations, where about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And I was talking about, I went in a little more detail about the verse that talked about how the Creator said, don't touch the oil and the wine. Do not touch it. Don't destroy it. And when I was researching that chapter and the details in that chapter, I came to understand consciousness, but I haven't interacted with it either, hands-on. With a practical application, I haven't used it like that. But oil is made up of compounds that can't be separated. That's why it's pure. And that's a whole nother topic that's been coming on me about purity. It's about, add this here. I'm rambling, I know. Science, engineering, technology, our level of consciousness, our relative to our advancements in science, engineering, technology, and purity. I don't even know if I'm allow myself to go there. Impurity. It's talked about purity. Anywho, back to the oil. And oil is pure. It's pure. And why do I bring the element of oil up in closing? It is because it's that the consciousness. Like I just got this consciousness that which oil is made up of, the compounds, can't be ciphered or separated or broken down. It's I want to say because it can't be the components can't be separated. That means it's nothing that can come between them. It's nothing that can be. Oh man, that's some deep stuff, man. Ramble 2 seconds long, y'all. In that same video I just talked about, is Bill Gates funded the development of a new nuclear reactor called a traveling wave reactor. And one of the attributes that it has is intent. Number one is a nuclear reactor, so it can create power as far as, lights and gas utilities. But the other thing, what they're trying to do with that is to be able to see into cells. And I just thought about it. Since this oil, the compounds that make up oil are like, even though they may be separate compounds, they can't be I forgot the term. They can't be separated. They can't be split. And that's what Bill Gates wants to look at. He wants to see that which is, you know, he wants to experience those various elements that make up oil that can't be split naturally. That reactor that he made is saying it in the documents that I read. That's what he want to do. He want to pierce in and go into that. He wants to see in that. It's, oh, God dang, give me 2 seconds more. When I was in college, I remember being in a natural science class, and I forgot what the professor said, but it was talking about how they have been trying to dig into the Earth's core or through the mantle. And they got so how many ever miles down into the mantle of the Earth, but they couldn't get no further. And that's when I found out, like, drill heads and stuff, industrial drill heads, you know, they use diamonds and stuff like that. And every time the biggest diamond head we'll say that they had was shattered because the mantle got that condensed. They couldn't get through it. And I remember sitting in class so much that they trying to break open hell. I said, the Bible said they can't break open hell. I was like, but man, I forgot what I was going to say, because that one, I was talking about Bill Gates, that reactor he just funded the development of, and now they about to try out, and how he want to see. It said in them articles that he want to see was in in these cells. Now, mind you, in the Bible said you can't, that don't mess with the oil or the wine. And the wine part was about, it was the fermentation process. Not everything ferments. It has to have a certain molecular, what is it called, molecular structure in order for it to ferment. And so when it came to the oil, again, whatever it's composed of, I'm sure it's multiple elements that oil is composed of, but whatever those elements are, they're bound. They're bonded together and can't be separated. And that's what that mother sucker, dirty mother sucker Bill Gates want. That's what that machine was about. He want to get in on that. He want that. And it said in the Bible, when they break open the seal, Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus, who am I and where did I come from? So, why am I pausing here? I'm pausing here because all of that right there, how many of us understand what, like, Bill Gates after? About talking about that oil, its sale, and being able to see it. How many of us can comprehend that? Even have a phantom what he's doing. That's the disproportionate, I'm not saying it right, the disproportion between our consciousness and our levels of advancement in science that keeps us enslaved. See where Bill Gates is at and his awareness and what he's seeking after, we all subconsciously be there. He wouldn't be special. He wouldn't have the upper hand and others like himself. That's what I'm saying. And the past lives, see, we stuck. We have, through the powers that exist and rule this realm, the trap is we're stuck in the past lives and never evolving to the state of the future. I don't know how to say it no other way. Hopefully that made sense. Thank you all for coming here to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and more once again, and hearing me talk about past lives and past lives regression. Until next time, y'all. Bye.